Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. Raila Odinga has become a point of interest since calling for the mass action, since he started the anti-Ruto rallies. But what has been bothering me here is we've been trying to project a situation where we are a bit dismissive, or rather the state has been dismissing him, that what he's saying, or rather trying to suppress his message, and saying that, of course, the rallies are inconsequential to running of government of the day. But while on that side that's going on, but behind the scenes, there seems to be a well-coordinated effort to make sure that he's pushed out of the political scene. I want us to look at this in this analysis, and I also try to look at why Ruto wants Raila out of the scene. Kindly subscribe to our channel, click the notification bell, and also like our video from anywhere you're watching our video. For those who are from Nigeria, how has been the voting? But I'm really following up because Peter Obi, one of the contestants there, used William Ruto's template. I'm trying to look at what's going to happen there and how the Muslims from the north, if they lose, they're going to hand over power. It's a very interesting politics to follow if you follow international politics. It's a very interesting one here. Ladies and gentlemen, I seem to see that the UDA administration is determined to stop at nothing but to push Raila out of the scene. And I want us to look at these two strategies that are not coming out, or rather these two revelations that are not coming out. Remember the discussion about allowing many other players into the gas sector so that they can also offer competition to Spectra International, which is Raila Odinga family that was founded by Raila Odinga back then in 1975, according to what I've been reading. And in my position, I said that there is no problem when you introduce many other players, so that when there is that competition, I am one person that do not vote for monopolistic market. When there is that competition, it helps to increase the quality of the product, and also it also helps to manage the prices. But that was to increase, and that is why I saw there was a gas company that was launched in Dongokundu in Mombasa. But and at that moment I took it, okay, fine, it's in good note. But what I have not understood is that the UDA administration will also move further and subsidize cooking gas, so that each family will have, and the subsidizing cooking gas so that kila mtu can afford to stop using wood fuel. I don't know if the wood fuel is bad. I don't know. I'm not an expert into that. But I asked myself, then why subsidize cooking gas while you said you don't want to subsidize consumption, you want to subsidize production? And cooking gas is a consumption. People are just consuming gas. It's not for production, if I'm not wrong. How about it's for producing food to be cooked, to be eaten, maybe. Then when I was speaking to an economist who was telling me, Kevin is just you're throwing that subsidy in that area, and maybe to make sure that company, Raila Imendachini, that introduction of the Taifa gas. And they say it will fall flat because for the politicians, they can always tell their supporters that gas is here and people will buy. It's wrong. Then, today I saw this tweet. There is this tweet from Senator Kiprotich Arab Cherargei saying, Kenya should suspend annual AU subscription until the full amount of Kenya that Tinga used of 2 billion as an envoy of infrastructure. Tinga intention to sue NMG is a threat to freedom of media. Next, removal of privileges of the office of the former PM. This is cars, security, and office. That's why I said That was just dropped from where. Of course, the senator was reacting to a story where Raila was arguing that there's a story that was published by Nation that, I don't know, government treasury pumped 2 billion in that Raila's office. And I think they did not get a clarification from the former premier's handlers, who then were actually saying they wanted to sue the Nation for that misreporting, even though we've not yet established the true position. But one thing I know here is Kenya, as a member of the AU, has some monthly contribution that they contribute there. So part of activities of AU, which that under that office falls, the office is funded by the African Union. So Kenya also fund, but indirectly, not that one, kwa sababu wao wakilipa to that body, then they can, the African Union does a couple of many other projects and many activities or other different departments, including that NEPAD. So Kenya is also just paying the subscription. And even if it is partly shared, then it is AU kidogo and African and the Kenyan government kidogo. But all in all, the truth, or rather what Raila team were against that, the money, the office was funded by taxpayers' money. In fact, Raila don't have another office. He's been using the Capitol Hill office. So, what really caught my attention is an understanding that you, or rather the Kenya Kwanza administration, want to stop at nothing to tame Raila Odinga. Be it that company, they're not talking about, repealing. And I'm wondering, some of these privileges are protected by law, number one. And the fact that Raila Odinga was a former premier, you can deny him anything. Or you may want to change anything, but you cannot rub off the fact that he was a former premier. And he served that position for a whole 5 years. And we were coming from something, even for us to reach there. We were coming from a very ugly scene of 2007. So we also have to, I think the administration must have to know that this is not the first government and it's not going to be the last. There's going to be transition one after the other. And even these who are now in power must also understand that there comes a time that they will also be former state officers. and there are many other, there are many other state officers wenye they are also enjoying the privileges that are funded by the taxpayers, and they are also against government. The only thing is that Raila is now in the limelight. But kuna wengi who are not in the limelight. And they are also opposing government and enjoying. But kweli, si ata kama, si everyone is paying tax, including those who support Raila. I've always asked one thing. Why is it about Raila Odinga? Kenya Kwanza has always wanted to portray a no-contest election in 2027. That's what they all wanted. And from what I see, there seems to be a well-hatched strategy to push Raila out of the political scene. They really want to put Raila out of the political scene. And I want to tell you why these efforts are hatched. It's not about what Raila is doing now, but it's about pushing Raila out of the political scene. It's not new. In the last general election, the discussion, the voters were told, take Uhuru back to Ichaweri and drive Raila with the put Raila in wheelbarrow and take him to Bondo. Unfortunately, he's not going there. Or rather, he has refused to go there. So that would have been the strategy. And from what I'm seeing, it's not even about neutralizing these rallies. These rallies are just being used as scapegoats. That demonstrations, just as scapegoats. But the real issue here is they want Raila out of the scene. I want to tell you why. The likes of Regadis, which is just a light note, would also see Raila would complicate Ruto succession. And Ruto succession starts in 2027. Someone will say now. It starts in 2027. So the likes of Regadi knows very well that the presence of Raila will complicate issues for them. But then I want to look for it. I want to look at it directly. Raila can regroup and mount a political contest. He can regroup. One of the qualities that you need to, all along his political life, you realize that he's a man who knows how to reinvent himself and regroup. After 2017, people ran away and were like, now he was done, and he went to the handshake. But then in 2022, he regrouped and now formed the Azimio that has now become, is now continuing, rather going on with the political discourse. So that's also one thing that Ruto will see. I also see a possibility that the ODM party grip can still consolidate the traditional voting base. You know, sorry, despite the fact that Raila is seen as the strongest opposition leader, but ODM party has been raided. 9 MPs have been raided from there. Wiper, not. And Jubilee has also been raided, even though Jubilee, we have to say, was vulnerable. So Wiper, despite of it, wanaona kama 50-50, hakuna mtu ameenda, except some few governors I'm seeing trooping there. So the ODM party grip can still consolidate. And he knows that's why he will want to destroy all of the scene, so that when that party is gone, then the issue can go. Number three is, I see that Raila is the face of rebellion, or rather opposition of government of the day, and this will then remind the public. He is the person that speaks, and then he carries the aspirations of the public, especially those who criticize the government of the day. And with his local and global networks, he is the face of fundraising for the opposition politics in Kenya and in Africa. So that aspect of fundraising is also one thing that will not sit comfortable with William Samoei Ruto. So ladies and gentlemen, I don't know, what's your take? I think it will be misguided and wrong if there is a hatched plan to deny Raila Odinga privileges of the former premier.